The Hive Ark did not feel like a starship. It felt alive. Lieutenant Ryan Hale stepped from the shuttle's airlock into a cavern of towering, curved walls that pulsed with slow, rhythmic light, green, violet, then a pale, ghostly white. The air vibrated with faint hums, like distant insect wings. Bioluminescent membranes rippled under his boots, as if reacting to his presence. The diplomatic envoys of the Terran Republic always described alien ships as strange, beautiful, or intimidating. None had ever described one as watching them. Ryan adjusted the collar of his gray tactical diplomatic suit, its silver crest glinting with each shift of the ambient glow. He wasn't wearing armor. This was supposed to be a meeting, not a battlefield, but the suit's fabric was reinforced, lined with kinetic mesh, because humanity's diplomats had learned one lesson quickly across the stars. Never walk into another species' home unprepared. The corridor curved upward like the inside of a leviathan's ribcage. Ryan walked alone, not by choice but by invitation. The Xylar Dominion had allowed no escorts, no drones, not even a second human. Only him. The Hive Ark wanted a single voice from Earth, and Ryan Hale was the one they chose. He kept his breathing steady as he moved deeper into the shifting tunnel. Each footstep triggered a ripple of light along the walls, following him like curious eyes. Organic conduits pulsed overhead, carrying pheromone-coded messages throughout the ship. The Xylar didn't rely on electronics the way humans did. They grew their technology. Ryan paused at a fork in the path. The walls quivered. A slit opened with a wet, whispering sound, unveiling a downward ramp. A cool, lavender mist spilled out. A summons. He squared his shoulders and stepped inside. The ramp descended into an immense chamber, a throne hall unlike anything in the known galaxy. A circular platform floated above a lake of shimmering neural fluid. Tendrils rose from the liquid like skeletal trees, connecting to the throne that hovered in the center. And upon that throne was the Queen. Queen Xyrath Mora. Her body was a masterpiece of alien evolution, sleek obsidian chitin, etched with faint blue arteries that pulsed in time with the Hive Ark. 6 slender limbs curled around the throne, each tipped with crystalline talons. Her wings were translucent, folded elegantly, veins glowing faintly like lines of luminescent script. Her face, if it could be called that, was a mask of fractal symmetry. Compound eyes shimmered with galaxies of shifting color. 2 crystalline horns arched backward, refracting light into dancing patterns on the chamber floor. Ryan felt his chest tighten. Even after seeing dozens of alien species, this one triggered something primal. Not fear. Awareness. Threat calculus. She was a predator, but an intelligent one. The kind that planned. The kind that questioned. The kind that doubted. The Queen's voice arrived not from her mandibles but from everywhere at once, layered, harmonic, like 3 beings speaking in unison. Step forward. Human. Ryan obeyed, stopping 10 meters from the throne. His pulse was steady. His face unreadable. His voice calm. Queen Xyrath Mora. I come on behalf of the Terran Republic to open peaceful. Her wings flexed, releasing a burst of cool air. The chamber's lights dimmed. She interrupted. You came alone. A statement. Not a question. Ryan said nothing. Her head tilted, studying him with a predator's patience. The bioluminescent lake below rippled, as if reacting to her rising curiosity. Another layered voice followed. Are you alone? Human? The words echoed around the chamber, sinking into the walls, the liquid, the air itself. Ryan's jaw tightened. That question. Of all the things she could have asked, it was the one he feared most. He kept his expression neutral. You insisted on a single representative. That is not what I asked. Her talons clicked softly against the throne. The lights dimmed further. Her voice sharpened, still melodic, but probing. No human arrives truly alone. You are a solitary individual only in appearance. But beneath your surface, you are not singular. Ryan was silent. The Queen leaned forward. Not like us. Not like other species. We sense layers. We sense echoing minds tethered behind your thoughts. Hidden. Masked. His heart thudded once hard. She shouldn't know this. She couldn't. No species, not even humanity's allies, understood what humans carried inside them. What made them different? What made them dangerous when cornered? Her wings flared slightly, stirring the mist. So I ask again, human? The throne glowed brighter, illuminating her silhouette with sharp lines. Are you alone? Ryan exhaled slowly. I am the only human present. Her mandibles twitched, not irritation, but amusement. Words twisted to avoid truth. Her voice descended in pitch. Deception is inefficient, human. The hive perceives what you hide. The neural lake churned. Tendrils rose and branched outward as if sensing him. The air vibrated with psychic static. Ryan felt pressure building in the back of his skull, soft at first, then firmer, like invisible fingers pressing against his mind. The hive was scanning him. Instinctively, Ryan's muscles tensed. The reinforced mesh of his suit buzzed faintly, adaptive systems bristling. He tried to speak. Your Majesty. Quiet. The command struck the air like a physical blow. Tendrils extended from the lake, stopping centimeters from him. They crackled with faint electricity, tasting the edges of his neural field. The queen leaned back. The hive senses many voices within your species. Not a true collective. Not a hive. Something stranger. Something dormant. Something we cannot categorize. Ryan swallowed. They were too close to the truth. Far too close. Humanity, she continued, behaves as a species of one until threatened. Then your unity manifests instantly. Violently. Predictably. No other species shifts so completely. She pierced him with her kaleidoscopic eyes. This is why I ask my question. A long pause. Are you truly alone, human? Or is humanity itself watching through you? Ryan's heartbeat echoed in his ears. For the first time, he chose honesty, but not the whole truth. My queen. I am never alone. The lights brightened. The neural lake stilled. The throne's hum deepened. The queen froze in perfect stillness, processing his admission. Then the air trembled as she spoke. Then this meeting is not between two beings. Her wings opened fully, casting razor-edged shadows. It is between my hive. She lowered her voice to a near whisper, layered with curiosity and implicit threat. And whatever your species is becoming. Ryan lifted his chin. Calm. Controlled. Human. Then let's negotiate properly. The queen's eyes blazed. Very well. The chamber sealed behind him with a hiss. The trap, or the test, had begun. The floor beneath Ryan's boots shifted. Not mechanically, organically. Like muscle fibers tensing. The chamber sealed shut behind him with a ripple of hardened chitin. The only entrances were now living walls, thick and layered, pulsing faintly with a heartbeat that was not his. Queen Zyrith Mora remained perfectly poised on her hovering throne, crystalline horns glowing with faint inner light. The tendrils drifting from the neural lake below curled back into the fluid like serpents retreating into deep water. Ryan stood tall. He had to. Humans did not bow to pressure. They adapted to it. The queen's compound eyes deepened in color, violet, blue, then a shade just beyond visible spectrum. Finally she spoke. Your statement intrigues us, human. I am never alone. The echo of her layered voice resonated across the throne hall. Most species mean such words metaphorically. Diplomatically. Her mandibles clicked softly. But your mind reacts differently. It prepares. It braces. Ryan offered no reply. And more interestingly, her gaze sharpened. It calls. A nerve flickered in Ryan's jaw. The queen noticed. Of course she did. She lifted one of her 6 forelimbs and traced a delicate pattern in the air, an elegant, practiced gesture. The organic machinery within the walls responded. Light veins brightened. The air thickened with pheromone-coated commands. The hive arc was awakening around them. Ryan's senses sharpened. Every instinct murmured the same warning. Danger is rising. The queen's wings flared, scattering motes of luminescent dust. The hive has requested permission to initiate a deeper scan of the human mind. Ryan kept his voice steady. Permission denied. Her mandibles twitched, amusement or irritation, hard to tell. You misunderstand. She tilted her head. It was not a request to you. The chamber trembled. A low hum vibrated through the floor, resonating in Ryan's bones. The hive asks me. She leaned forward. And I have granted it. The walls peeled open like the petals of a carnivorous flower. From behind them emerged a cluster of floating, jellyfish-like organisms, translucent, drifting, their tendrils trailing streams of light. Their bodies hummed in rhythmic pulses like living sonar. The queen gestured with a claw. Approach him. Ryan's hand twitched toward the side of his suit, toward a concealed seam where a defensive microdevice was hidden. Not a weapon, but close enough. The creatures drifted nearer, tendrils crackling with faint neuroelectric potential. Your species hides something, the queen continued calmly. Something even your allies fear. Something dormant yet reactive. Another step closer. The tendrils were inches from Ryan's face, and the hive would see it. Ryan inhaled. Slow. Measured. Then his voice sharpened, cold, authoritative. Stand down. The creatures froze. For the first time, a faint ripple of confusion passed through the queen's compound eyes. Ryan didn't move. Didn't blink. That was not a command to you, he said quietly. Her wings shifted ever so slightly. The organisms are linked directly to my neural authority, she said. You cannot influence them. Ryan's gaze remained fixed on the star-like creatures. I wasn't speaking to them. A long, tense silence. Then, one by one, the jellyfish creatures recoiled, drifting backward. Their tendrils dimmed, curling into harmless spirals. The walls folded gently, sealing them back inside their alcoves. The queen rose from her throne. Slowly, gracefully, predator and monarch. Her crystalline horns crackled with new light. Her voice deepened. Explain. Ryan clasped his hands behind his back. I told you, he said softly. I am never alone. The queen circled him with fluid, floating steps, her limbs gliding across the surface of her organic platform. Her wings whispered like shifting silk. We detected no external communication, she said. No transmitted signals. No neural broadcast. No pheromone response. Nothing. Correct. No supporting humans. Correct. No concealed hive. Correct. Her eyes narrowed. Then how, she asked, did you halt my neural sentinels? Ryan exhaled slowly. Humans, he said, have a trait your hive does not understand. The queen stopped circling. And what is this trait? He met her gaze without fear. Internal consensus. Her mandibles parted. Clarify. When a human faces danger, Ryan said, when the stakes rise, when pressure builds, our minds are not alone. Every instinct, every learned experience, every ancestral memory aligns. He tapped one finger against the side of his temple. We don't broadcast outward. We collapse inward. 1,000,000 years of survival instincts focus into a single moment. One impulse. His calm expression hardened ever so slightly. One decision. The queen's wings fluttered as she processed his words. That is not a collective, she countered. It is neurological pressure. Ryan shook his head. No. It's more. His voice lowered. It's why humans never panic together, we synchronize. Instantly. It's why we win wars we shouldn't. Why we survive planets we shouldn't. Why you felt the echo. He stepped toward the edge of the platform. It's why you sensed more than me. A faint tremor passed through the queen's limbs. Human, she whispered, your species is not a hive. No, Ryan agreed. But when threatened, we act like one. The throne hall darkened. The neural lake beneath the queen churned. Bioluminescent waves rolled outward, reflecting the tension building inside her mind. Finally, she spoke. Then this test is not finished. Ryan felt the chamber shift beneath him. The Queen lifted two of her largest limbs and slammed them into the throne. The entire room pulsed. The hive requires proof, she declared. A demonstration of your species' hidden unity. Ryan's jaw clenched. What kind of demonstration? Her eyes gleamed like burning stars. A trial of pressure. The platform split into concentric rings. The air thickened. Pheromone fog swirled. We will push you, she said softly. Until you fracture or until your other selves awaken. Ryan's heartbeat deepened. So, he murmured, this is a test. Her wings flared wide. No, human. She descended toward him on a web of glowing tendrils. This is revelation. The chamber shook. The trial began. The throne hall split apart. Not explosively, organically. The floor peeled open into vast, spiraling segments, each one sliding away as if guided by the breath of some ancient leviathan. The bioluminescent lake below receded into darkness, leaving a yawning chasm of pulsing tissue and humming nerve fibers. Ryan stood at the center of the platform, boots planted, posture straight. Queen Zyrith Mora rose above him, suspended by dozens of glowing tendrils that reached upward like roots clinging to a sun. Her voice rolled through the chamber, layered and resonant. Human. The trial begins. Ryan scanned the shifting architecture. Define this trial. You claim your species unites under pressure, she said. We will apply pressure. He exhaled. Of course. The Queen extended a claw. The air warbled. Something was coming. A deep tremor ran through the hive arc. The walls swelled like lungs inhaling. Ryan's hair lifted as if charged with static. Then, the chamber attacked him. A shock wave slammed downward from above, invisible but crushing. Ryan dropped to one knee, teeth clenched. His muscles strained. His vision blurred at the edges. The pressure increased, again and again, each layer tightening like a fist closing around his skull. The Queen observed silently from above, her wings half open, glowing along the veins. Ryan forced his body upright inch by inch. Humans were adaptable. Hard to kill. Harder to break. But the hive didn't intend to break his body. It wanted his mind. The second wave came silently. No sound, no warning. A psychic pulse hammering through his skull. Ryan's balance faltered, one step back, boots skidding on the trembling platform. His vision fractured into streaks of color. Then the hallucinations began. Not random thoughts, memories. Artificially provoked, forcibly dragged out. He saw the Terran trench war. Smoke. Fire. Screaming metal. The moment his squad made a decision without speaking, unity born under pressure. He saw the evacuation of the Centauri mining station. A dozen humans cooperating instinctively through chaos, no orders needed. He saw the first alien ambush on the Oort frontier. The moment humanity understood predators weren't just metaphors. The hive wasn't reading his mind. It was pushing it, trying to see what humanity became in extremis. Ryan sucked in a breath and locked the memories down one by one. A mental firewall built from training, discipline, and will. But the pressure didn't stop. The Queen's eyes glowed with curiosity. You resist, she noted. Good. Continue. Another shockwave hit, stronger. The organic platform split into rotating pieces with Ryan standing on one. A ring of spiked tendrils rose from the abyss, lashing outward. He ducked under the first, leapt over the second, rolled beneath the third. Even the Queen paused. Human reactions were fast. But this fast? Ryan steadied himself, breathing hard. This was what she sought. Not simple endurance, not strength, not defiance, but the moment where pressure forced the human mind into its next state. The hive wanted to see the others waking inside him. Ryan sensed the shift before it physically happened. The entire chamber vibrated in a synchronized pulse. A biological countdown. 3. The lights dimmed. 2. The neural lake below re-emerged, surface glowing like molten glass. 1. The hive struck directly into his mind. A psychic spear, clean, precise, merciless, pierced the outer layers of his consciousness. Ryan's eyes snapped shut. Pain flared. Pressure mounted. Something inside him, something quiet, usually dormant, began to rise. The Queen froze, eyes widening ever so slightly. She felt it. A ripple. A signal. A human instinct awakening. Ryan steadied his breath and whispered through clenched teeth. No. The Queen's mandibles clicked. Do not resist. Ryan straightened, face still contorted with effort. You're not prepared for what you're trying to wake. The psychic pressure intensified, bearing down like a collapsing star. Ryan's hands trembled. At the edge of hearing, faint echoes whispered back. Thoughts emerging that were not his own yet were undeniably human. Hold the line. Get up. Not here. Not now. Move. They weren't voices. Not telepathy. Not a hive. They were instinctual layers, ancestral unity rising automatically under threat. The Queen's wings flared wide in fascination. There, she whispered. We sense it again. Who stands with you, human? Ryan's eyes opened. Dark gray. Focused. Burning with something other species lacked. No one stands with me. He took one slow step forward, even as the psychic weight pressed down. But humanity stands through me. Another tendril struck toward him, this one sharp, aimed at his chest. Ryan didn't dodge. He caught it, bare-handed. The impact jarred his bones. The Queen froze. Humans were weak, slow, fragile. They were not supposed to catch hive tendrils mid-strike. Ryan forced the tendril downward, muscles shaking. This is pressure, he growled. This is nothing compared to what humans do to themselves. The chamber trembled with the hive's rising agitation. The Queen hissed softly, respect, not anger. Then show us, she whispered. What rises inside a human at the brink? Ryan closed his eyes. Not to retreat. To focus. 3 deep breaths. Then, the psychological field around him shifted. Condensed. Hardened. The Queen felt it instantly. A presence. A calm. A unity unlike any species she'd ever encountered. Her wings twitched involuntarily. Humans were not a hive. But under pressure? They became something far more efficient. The chamber's rotating platforms began to accelerate. Tendrils lashed outward with lethal force. The psychic spear hammered his mind again and again. Ryan moved. Not frantically. Not furiously. But with singular purpose. Ducking under 2 tendrils at once. Using one platform's spin to vault over another strike. Deflecting a psychic pulse with sheer mental discipline. The Queen watched enthralled. He is synchronizing, she whispered to the hive. Observe his neural patterns. They align. They tighten. She stopped. Her eyes widened. They were no longer reading one human mind. They were reading several patterns layered in perfect harmony. Instinct. Memory. Training. Ancestral fear. Ancestral defiance. 5 layers. 7. 9. More. Ryan wasn't gaining strength. He was gaining coherence. Human unity. Not external, not telepathic, but internal, instantaneous, ruthless. The Queen drew back a fraction. This was new. This was dangerous. Still, she pressed on. Reveal it fully, she commanded. Ryan turned his head slowly toward her. No, he said. The chamber fell silent. No, the Queen repeated. Ryan planted one foot firmly on the trembling platform. You're not ready to see the rest. The hive trembled, agitation rippling through every wall. Ryan raised his chin. This trial ends now. The Queen lowered herself toward him, eyes blazing with alien intensity. And who ends it, human? Ryan's answer was measured. Calm. Terrifyingly calm. We do. The platform beneath them shattered in a burst of blinding light. The Queen recoiled. The hivearch screamed. And Ryan Hale stepped into the next test. Not as one human, but as the first glimpse of what humanity truly becomes under pressure. The throne hall no longer resembled a hall. Shattered platforms drifted on the neural lake, smoke-like tendrils curling around them. The queen's wings were fully extended now, casting shadows like fractal knives across the churning surface. Her compound eyes burned with fascination, curiosity, and a hint of fear. Ryan Hale stood at the center, chest rising and falling in measured breaths. The psychic pulses from the Hivark's neural lake still struck him, but he no longer flinched. He had accepted the truth. The hive would see everything. Not all, but enough. He exhaled slowly. "Queen Zyrith Mora," he said. His voice carried across the fractured chamber, calm and resolute. "You asked if I was alone." Her multi-layered voice responded immediately. "Yes, and now? I see that you are not." Ryan nodded. The Hivark had forced him to reveal the first layer. The instinctive unity, the ancestral alignment, the reflexive synchronization humans carried under extreme stress. But the next part, the truth humanity hid from the galaxy, that remained his choice. Because it was not instinct, it was will. And humans had mastered both. He closed his eyes, focusing inward. The Hivark pulsed again, sensing, probing, expecting, hungry for comprehension. Ryan activated the hidden network within himself. Not a broadcast. Not a telepathic signal. Something far subtler. Human ingenuity. The network of mental, emotional, and subconscious coordination humans carried across generations. It wasn't collective consciousness. It wasn't an alien hive. It was something the galaxy had never seen before. He opened his eyes. The queen froze. The air shifted. The neural lake trembled. Platforms tilted, as though the chamber itself was aware that the pattern had changed. "What is this?" Her voice was almost a whisper, layered with alarm and awe. Ryan took a single step forward. "This," he said, "is what humanity truly is. Not what you assume when you watch us casually. Not what your sensors detect. Not what your hive perceives under normal circumstances." He extended a hand toward the floating platforms, letting the subtle mental network ripple outward. The Hivark responded immediately. Light pulses, tendrils, even the queen's wings twitched as if trying to comprehend the pattern. This is a species that acts as one without losing individuality. We cooperate instinctively, yet each human remains unique. We fight, survive, and adapt together, instantly, but without telepathy. Without linking minds. Without your hive's influence. Every human is a spark, and when threatened, sparks ignite into a storm. The queen tilted her head. The compound eyes flickered through multiple colors, scanning him, trying to categorize, to simplify, to rationalize. "Impossible. Impossible," she finally hissed. Her mandibles clicked sharply, a sound that reverberated like glass breaking. No species should be able to synchronize so perfectly without hive structure. You are not just one mind, yet one mind is enough to influence the rest. Ryan's lips twitched in a hint of a smile. "Exactly. We are not a hive. But we can act as one when the situation demands. And because we choose this, our strength is unpredictable. Uncalculable. Dangerous." The queen's wings shifted nervously. The Hivark itself hummed at a higher pitch, responding to the revelation. She had underestimated humanity. Not individual humans, but what humans could become together, instinctively, deliberately, and without external control. "And this," she murmured, voice trembling slightly, "this is why the galaxy fears you?" "Yes." Ryan's tone was quiet, but every word carried the weight of centuries. "Because no alien species can see all the variables of a human response in real time. We hide our potential until it's necessary to act. And then," he paused, letting the silence stretch, feeling the weight of the Hivark's gaze. "We adapt faster than any predator expects, smarter than any enemy predicts, stronger than any opponent imagines." The queen's wings flared in a display of power, but not aggression. Alertness. Fascination. Fear. You are nothing like any species I have catalogued, she whispered. The hive trembled around her, as if acknowledging the gravity of her words. Your hive, your network, it is not a hive. Yet it is. Her mandibles clicked rapidly, translating thought into instinctual words, a force the galaxy cannot ignore. Ryan nodded. You asked if I was alone. You should have asked, can humanity be contained? The Queen's multi-layered voice fell silent for a heartbeat. Then she spoke, softer this time. Perhaps, not by conventional means. The neural lake pulsed violently, as though the hive arc itself was debating, arguing, analyzing the implications. The bioluminescent tendrils around the chamber flickered with patterns too complex for any non-human to follow. Ryan took another step forward, his posture calm, unwavering. Humans are adaptable, unpredictable, and resilient. You can test one of us alone, as you did. But you cannot test humanity fully, because we are never just one. And when pressed, we become more. The Queen's compound eyes flickered, scanning him from all angles. She floated slightly above her throne, wings half open, the aura of a predator watching something bigger than herself. Then she asked, carefully, almost cautiously, "And now, what will you do?" Ryan's gaze held hers. "Now," he said, "we negotiate because that is what humans do. But understand this, Queen Zyrith Mora," his voice hardened slightly. "Humanity is not to be underestimated. Not individually. Not collectively. And certainly not when provoked." For the first time, the Queen's wings dropped slightly, as though bowing in recognition of an unexpected truth. "Perhaps we misjudged you," she whispered. Ryan nodded once. "Calm. Steady. Human." "Perhaps," he said. "But this is only the beginning." The neural lake stilled. The hive arc settled, but the pulse of latent energy remained. Ryan could feel the hive watching, calculating, trying to digest what it had just witnessed. The Queen herself had stepped back, thoughtful, cautious. Respect mingled with lingering unease. Ryan adjusted his suit and gave a slight nod. "I am alone, yes. But humanity is never alone." The Queen's mandibles clicked softly, a sound somewhere between admiration and hesitation. She drifted backward to her throne. "Then we shall continue carefully." The hive arc's glow softened, returning to the bioluminescent patterns of a living starship. The trial was over. But the revelation remained. Humanity had shown the first glimpse of what the galaxy misunderstood. And the Queen now knew. Humans were far more dangerous, and far more unpredictable, than even the most careful calculations had suggested. Ryan exhaled quietly. Calm, still composed, yet aware. The hive had seen a fraction of the truth. The galaxy had not. And one day, if pushed, humans would demonstrate the rest. But for now, survival meant diplomacy. And diplomacy required patience. Ryan Hale, human diplomat and soldier, adjusted the silver crest on his chest and prepared for the Queen's next move. Because the story of humanity, and the galaxy's fear of them, was only beginning. The throne hall had returned to a tense stillness. Shattered platforms drifted gently across the bioluminescent lake, reflecting the fractured glow of Queen Zyrith Mora's crystalline horns. The hive arc's pulse had slowed but remained deliberate, as if digesting everything it had just witnessed. Ryan Hale stood at the center, posture relaxed but every muscle primed. He had survived the hive's trial, revealed humanity's hidden potential, and yet he knew the Queen was far from done evaluating him. Her compound eyes tracked him, analyzing, calculating, probing. There was no anger now, only sharp, cautious curiosity. "You claim your species is unpredictable," she said, her voice layered but quieter, almost reverent. "That you become a collective when threatened, yet remain individual, and that this is why the galaxy fears you." Ryan nodded. "Calm. Steady. Human. Yes, that is true." The Queen hovered slightly above her throne. She extended one of her 6 limbs, lightly tracing a pattern in the air. Tendrils of light rippled across the chamber, and the neural lake shimmered, as if asking silently, "Proof?" Ryan understood. The hive wanted demonstration. "You want proof of what I said," he murmured. "Very well." The platform beneath him shifted subtly, sensing his intent. He closed his eyes for a brief moment, and the room responded, not violently this time, but subtly. The bioluminescent tendrils along the walls pulsed in perfect synchronization with the rhythm of his heartbeat. The Queen's wings twitched. The first tendrils of a mental echo stirred within the chamber. They were faint, nearly imperceptible, but enough for the hive arc to detect. They emanated outward, ripples of instinct, experience, and will fused into a single, invisible wave. "Do you feel that?" Ryan said, opening his eyes. "That is humanity. Not a hive. Not a network. But a storm contained in one body and yet reaching beyond." The Queen's eyes widened. She floated closer. Her mandibles clicked softly, a sound Ryan had learned could signify fascination or deep alarm. "Impossible," she whispered. "No individual should carry the weight of the species within them. The hive cannot contain it. The algorithms cannot predict it." Ryan smiled faintly. "Humans are not algorithms. We do not calculate every possible outcome in advance. We improvise. We adapt. We survive. We win." A flicker of light raced along the neural lake, surging upward as the hive tried to analyze the signal. But it could not reduce it to simple parameters. It could not quantify instinct, courage, or ancestral memory. Ryan lifted one hand, gesturing gently, and the pulse intensified. A subtle energy, almost imperceptible, radiated outward. "I am alone," he said. "Yes. But if humanity were here, we would act as one. And in that unity we are unstoppable. We do not need a hive mind to become dangerous. We simply become human." The Queen recoiled slightly. Not in fear, not entirely, but in recognition. She had underestimated this species. The hive had underestimated it. The galaxy had underestimated it. "And now you see," Ryan continued, stepping forward, "why humanity is feared across the stars. Not because of our weapons. Not because of our fleet. Not because of our technology." He let the pause stretch. The hive arc thrummed in response, resonating with the unspoken tension. "It is because we survive where others fail. We adapt where others break. We rise when threatened, not as a unit dictated by one mind, but as one force composed of many wills. And we decide, together yet independently, how far we can go." The Queen remained still. Wings partially spread, crystalline horns glowing faintly. Her compound eyes scanned him, trying to reconcile what she had seen with the laws of her hive. "You are chaos contained," she whispered, almost reverently. "Yet you are not chaos." "Exactly," Ryan said. "Predictable in nothing, deadly in everything that matters." A faint tremor ran through the throne hall as the hivearch's bioluminescent veins pulsed in acknowledgement. The Queen's wings flickered. Her mind, brilliant and vast, raced to categorize, rationalize, understand. She exhaled slowly, a human gesture though she could not imitate it fully. "You have revealed a fraction," she said. "I do not know whether the galaxy is ready for the rest." Ryan's expression was calm, almost amused. "They will learn eventually. Or they will be forced to." The Queen floated down to her throne, still watching him. For a moment, silence hung between them, a silence thick with understanding, with recognition of power and its consequences. Finally, she spoke, her voice deliberate. "Human, Lieutenant Hale, you have proven more than any report, any sensor, any analysis could have revealed. Your species is not as it appears. It is something more. Something we cannot yet predict, contain, or fully understand." Ryan inclined his head. "Polite, diplomatic, human. And that is why," he said softly, "you asked if I was alone. Because you suspected, there is always more than meets the eye. And you were right. But the galaxy does not know the half of it. The Queen considered him. Slowly. Carefully. Then her wings lowered. The neural lake beneath her shimmered, a gentle pulse of acknowledgement and respect. Perhaps humanity deserves caution rather than fear, she murmured. Perhaps we will reconsider our approach. Ryan allowed a faint nod. Diplomacy first. But always preparedness. She inclined her throne ever so slightly, a gesture of recognition. Her mandibles clicked softly, approval perhaps, respect certainly. The Hive-Arc hummed gently, bioluminescent veins settling into a rhythmic glow. The chamber had quieted, but the energy remained, a subtle tension, a promise, a warning. Ryan took one last step toward the edge of the platform. The Queen's compound eyes followed him, observing, calculating, absorbing. You have survived the Hive's trial, she said. And you have shown us the truth of your species. Perhaps, now the galaxy will understand. Perhaps, Ryan said. But he knew better. Understanding was never immediate. Fear would linger. Misjudgment would remain. Humanity thrived in the spaces between comprehension, and that had always been their strength. He straightened his posture, chest rising with confidence. Calm. Steady. Human. Then the trial is concluded, he said. We may negotiate, Queen Zyrith Mora. And humanity will continue as it always has. The Queen's wings folded gently. Her voice, layered yet quiet, echoed through the chamber. We will watch carefully. And we will learn, slowly. But now we respect your species. Ryan exhaled slowly, allowing a fraction of relief. The Hive-Arc's pulse continued, steady but attentive. The Queen returned to her throne, still observing him. The galaxy had not yet seen the full measure of humanity. They had glimpsed it today, enough to sow caution, enough to plant fear, enough to prove one simple truth. Humans were far more dangerous than anyone had calculated. And Lieutenant Ryan Hale had delivered that proof. Calm, composed, and very human, he adjusted the silver crest on his suit and prepared to leave the chamber. Because in the galaxy's history, this was only the beginning. Humanity had been seen and now it was feared. And the stars themselves would take notice.